Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the RankKing's court.
Batman.
I was gonna say that was really off of the intro song, man. That wasn't good.
That was really good.
He was going for our intro song.
Yeah, he has a really bad offbeat on that
The
one.
RankKing's intro beats Batman's intro any day.
It is a good intro,
Awesome.
I will
jam
admit.
out all the time.
Welcome everybody. We are the RankKing's court. 6:30 is the time frame. Tuesday is the date, and we are here with another great topic and another great guest. Please, after I humbly introduce the members of the court, one Vovo and one Greg Malik. Boys, how are we doing today?
We're doing great, Austin. How are you?
Wonderful.
How did you get a Volvo in that? That was weird. You a car now?
He's actually not the first person to call me that.
Name two other people.
Sam that I used to work with at the movie theater always called me Vovo.
And three more.
I don't know. I think Sam was the only one that called me that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are, it's not just them in the studio today. Of course, we have our top commenter, always in the chat, always a big fan of the RankKing's court. We have the Josh Oranger. Welcome.
Thank you.
Clap,
Thanks for
Greg.
having
Come
me.
on, Greg.
Jesus, I was
Just
drinking.
clap.
Calm down.
Nice, Jesus, get your shit together.
I appreciate you bringing me on, Austin.
Of course.
It's very nice of you.
And we'll get into a little bit of what we're going to talk about here in a second, because it's a doozy. It's a little bit of a pop culture element that people very much enjoy. But before we do anything, Bo or Greg, or if you want to make Foreigner do it, I don't know what the hell.
Oh, he's doing it.
yeah, he's doing it.
He's doing
There
it.
is a good old
I've never
ad read
seen
on
a
the
guest
table,
read
which
this.
Every guest
Dwayne
has
The Rock
read it.
Johnson-
Every guest does it.
I don't believe that.
Wayne The Rock Johnson's looking down on you right now, Foreigner. Just
What
letting
up, Rock?
So.
All right. The RankKing's court is live today from the Union Fitness Studios, located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It is a place where you can transform yourself inside and out with a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe that it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today and sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength.
There we go.
Now,
That was pretty good.
Exactly why the hell is he better at reading the ad read than you two?
Because I want to get through it as fast as
Yeah,
possible.
same.
That's why.
Same.
Well,
And he watches every week, so he knows it. He
Yeah,
knows it
I
by
love
heart.
so
hey, that's the precise thing about being a fan of the biggest Tuesday spectacle to come into our lives. Forger, I appreciate you reading the ad read. And before we get into tonight's topic, we have to discuss last week's, which, Forger, you gave me the okay for a lot of things in the category, which is known as Rick and Morty.
I like how you're the gold standard for him to make sure he did a good job. That's a good look.
Listen,
Gold
Austin,
standard. He's our number one fan, and he knows in his heart that just because Vo picked Noob Noob doesn't give him the right to take home the trophy.
Hey, he said it.
I'm just
He
saying.
said it.
Vo won, great debate in my eyes.
Thank you,
Your top
Forger.
10 though, perfect. It was probably the only one that you've ever gotten perfect, but
Wow. Wow.
Take that as a compliment,
Like I
Austin.
said, opinions are like assholes, man. I'm glad everyone has one. I mean, sometimes I need to be known if it's good or not, and I say fuck you to that, and it's nothing personal.
Thank you.
I mean, my top 10 stands on its own, but there's no way in hell that Bo wins because I had, I think, 3 or 4 people like the fact that I had Mr. Poopy Butthole #1 overall. He stands on his own.
Yeah. Anyone was going to take him #1.
Jeez. By the way, what were the results of the poll? Just out of curiosity. Is this like last week where someone had to decide to put himself over at the last second?
Not your
Yeah.
mouth. It might not have happened. Who knows?
There wasn't a poll for this one.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
I
No.
actually thought
I just-
Greg was gonna win it because he picked Scary Terry, and that's one of my all-time favorites. So I was like, oh, Greg's already winning. And then Bo just came out of nowhere.
He sneaks up on you. It's weird.
You guys say what you want.
So you're saying Austin came in last place?
Yes.
Yes.
Way.
Yes.
No way.
And
Take the L.
I have a literal yellow bean that knows karate and a top hat. I have
That's all you
a
had.
combination of history of free rights and one that has not free rights, which that's
probably is the one that like leaned people away from that. Just
Yeah.
saying.
I have a guy that goes, whoa, whoa, and knows his personal space, and I have a guy that's just trying to sleep here. And you're telling me I'm coming in 3rd place?
You
That's
had
a
one
crock
good
of shit.
character.
Oh.
Crock
it.
of shit, and you know it.
That was it.
But yes, which if anyone has seen the latest Rick and Morty episode of season 5 that debuted on Sunday is on Adult Swim and is put on by Adult Swim on YouTube. If you did not check that out, so go check out the good old Mr. Nimbus if you are willing to jump into season 5. I love it. I was hoping to swing Greg. I think he has to check out the earlier seasons before he hits 5 right away. But
You are correct. I probably.
I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, Austin. With season 5, is it like a new episode every week, or is it just? Was that
Yes,
just
it
a special
is
week?
it should be a new episode every Sunday, I think at
Okay.
either 11 or midnight.
Gotcha.
I'm not entirely sure yet, so.
Perfect. Can't wait.
What you got in your red solo cup, by the way, King?
It's a good old Blackberry White Claw. So that'll be
Okay.
good.
Good choice.
Okay.
Good choice.
Fancy bitch.
Hey, you can't talk to the king like that.
That's our job.
I'm sorry.
God damn it. Know your role. God damn it. Dwayne's in the room right now. Know your role. Shut your mouth, Orange. God damn you.
Literally.
Alrighty. Big topic tonight, guys, that we brought forward. You're on for. As I said in the beginning with the intro, it is Batman. We are talking all things Batman tonight. That's comics, movies, interpretations, TV shows, whatever the hell you want else. Batman is the focus for tonight. Now, Greg, I know you have a lot of superhero tattoos or just tattoos of pop culture in general. Is Batman one of those? I
No.
never thought I'd ask.
No. In terms of the pop culture hero ones, for me, it is Spider-Man and it is the Dragon Zord. Those are my
That's
two.
right.
Now, Batman holds a special place there. I will give them that. Batman holds a special place for a lot of people. It wasn't as strong for me. My introduction to Batman was the animated series in the 90s, which way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Way ahead of its time. I'm amazed that some of that stuff was actually on afternoon programming for kids, too, when you think about it in hindsight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the writing was ahead of its time. The ability to put amount of dark concepts and idealistic ideas that were brought to play in those, fabulously done. And I believe it was our #1 show in my IG ranking that I put out today for the #1 Batman shows, which, Vo, I don't know if you want to go to it real quick.
Yeah, we can pull that up real quick.
I'll bring those up. We had The Batman, which I thought is the most underrated. A lot of people don't give it credit, but it was one of the most underrated cartoon animated editions of Batman put out. I thought it was wonderful, man. Oh, man. Excuse me. And then we
Hey,
bring
Austin, fun fact. #4, Foreigner was alive when that came out.
Yeah, we got an old fucker in here, by the way. We completely forgot to mention that.
I was not alive for that.
Are you
He's
sure?
alive for the debut episode.
Yeah,
It was
are you
ni-
sure,
nin-
man?
1966.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my.
I'm blind, so I
Great
had to like look
Scott,
at it.
how old are you?
Exactly.
Yeah,
As old as Ra's al Ghul.
oh, that's true.
That was good. Deep
Number
cut.
4 was, of course, Adam West Batman. My intro to this show actually became with the VHS tape of the Batman the movie, which had like Penguin, Joker, Catwoman all together, and it gave us a lot of the wonderful memes that we were brought today from Adam West Batman, including Batman running with the excuse me, of the bomb on his head. That was a great one. We also had Batman being eaten, his leg being bit by a shark, and asking Robin for the shark repellent bat spray.
It also led to Adam West doing a parody of himself on Fairly Odd Parents as Catman, which is something that I appreciate very much.
Oh, yes. We move on to our number 3, which is my personal maybe favorite of the Batman shows. It's number 3 because just of dark tones and everything, but Batman Beyond. I loved this show as a kid, and it was darker possibly than the animated series for a lot of certain elements. You had elements of bullying, drug use, child abuse. Everything that was thrown into Batman Beyond was made for adults, for kids, and might have fucked this up, might have, but Terry McGinnis as Batman, holy shit, this show, all but rocked.
This also gave us probably the best Batman animated movie, Return of the Joker.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I put it over Mask of the Phantasm because that's where I figured you were going with that. Yeah, but
we're gonna debate that later.
Return of the Joker is incredible. But
Yeah, hold that thought, Greg.
Oh, I love where you're ahead though. Number 2, we're gonna get into didn't really have element of Batman per se, but it had the Batman universe, and that is 2014's Gotham.
Such a good
Yeah,
show.
that's your
I
favorite show,
love
isn't it?
I mean,
Jeremiah
all of this
the
was
way.
available on Netflix. I binge watched this even when the new season came out. I was literally there on the dot watching it every time. A lot of people gave it its criticisms because, oh, it's not like it was in the comic books, or it wasn't like it was in the thing. And shut up. Open yourself to new
Just
interpretation.
shut up.
I agree.
hey, real quick, since you had Gotham in this one, did you consider Batwoman at all by chance or no?
I did, Greg. I'm just not as caught up on Batwoman as so I couldn't. I've watched every episode of Gotham. I haven't watched every
That's fair.
episode of Batwoman, so.
That's fair. That's fair. There was a weird transition from the first to the second season. I haven't watched a lot of the second season, but I've heard good things. It's not the best Arrowverse show, obviously, but it's still
Yeah, it's number 6 for sure.
And of course, our number 1, which we touched on, of what Greg mentioned, of how it's ahead of its time, Batman the Animated Series. Loved this show so much, and I included the new Batman Adventures in this. I know they're 2 different aspects, but it is literally the same show, except it's adapted a
Well,
little
if you
bit.
get the DVD, they actually come together.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why people think they're 2 different things. They are clearly the same season, just with a more detailed style of artwork, I guess I could say.
I mean, as long as Kevin Conroy is still the voice, I mean, why it doesn't matter.
Kevin Conroy is him, Mark Hamill is the Joker, all of it coming
Right,
together.
exactly.
Austin,
And yes,
this was your second perfect ranking.
Oh,
I'm glad I have 2 perfect rankings from our number 1 fan.
From our esteemed guest
it
tonight.
only took like 30-some episodes, but
All
you
right.
got it.
Anyway,
There.
that goes the talking. I'm excited for this. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into radical ranking number 1. All right. The concept of Batman is the man that fights for vengeance, justice, the knight. He is Batman. But what happens when the Dark Knight goes over the edge? Somewhat think a little darker than you would normally think. That's right, guys. The first radical ranking, we are talking the top evil forms of Batman.
Are you kind of bringing this up as, because what was it? It was like the comic book thing that came out where they had all the different iterations of Batman. It was what, DC Knights, Gotham Knights or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Well, I will pause right there, Greg, because I don't want anything to be spoiled. It may or may not be.
Okay, because I know there were a bunch of them that came out from there, so I just wanted to get where you were coming from on that, because I can't recall too many other medias that had evil Batman.
This is mostly in comics. I've seen different adaptations from TV shows, movies, etc. that go along with it. But let's get along with it. Our number 5, I love this, Flashpoint Batman.
Already wrong.
Evil?
Yes, evil in the sense of how crime is conducted. Now, for those that don't know, of course, Flashpoint Batman is not Bruce Wayne, it is Thomas Wayne. And instead of Thomas and Martha dying also, Bruce is the one that ends up being killed, with Thomas becoming Flashpoint Batman and Martha becoming the Joker. All of this various intertwined to Batman being sort of an alcoholic, to being a darkened, more of a vigilante, because he's not in the sense of respecting human life. Guns come into play, which is the main no-no in the retrospective of the Dark Knight himself. And yes, different iteration. A lot of people seem to think not as villainous as most. And the Flashpoint from the Flash TV movie, I think, made him a little bit of a lighter sense. But in the comics, he literally will fucking kill you. Like, it is not a...
He looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, real quick, Austin. So I'm glad you brought up I'm glad you brought up like the animated movie, because that was a great, very, very well done piece of thing. But I can agree with you from the comic perspective, because I would say that he is basically everything that Batman doesn't abide by. Like, he is not afraid to kill, which was a big thing that Batman was. And he's also, like, Batman's known for being the world's greatest detective. Flashpoint Batman is all about just kind of ending things, like, right from the get-go. So there's a big dichotomy there. I can agree with you on.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly, right? And that's another thing that 400 brings up, is that the main rule of Batman is no guns. That's exactly why he hung up the cape in the Batman Beyond before that came up, because he had to use a gun in order to defend himself while he was having a heart attack.
Right.
So guns are a big no-no, and this version of Batman uses them all.
I consider him an anti-hero, though, instead of evil, though.
I see. I get it, but in the sense of, I mean, he literally kicked Harley Quinn, quote-unquote, in that universe, yo-yo, off the top of a building in hopes she would splat and hit the floor.
I get that, but we're also talking about a universe that has the Atlanteans and the Amazonians at war with each other that are costing lives every single day. And not to mention, this Batman's also the one that helped Barry get his speed back.
The only one that I will say is that Aquaman shouldn't have fucked Wonder Woman then. We move on to number 4.
Flashpoint comics are a trip, by the way, for anyone who's never seen them. They're amazing.
It is. You need to check them out. Number 4 is the Red Death.
I forgot about him.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know this one.
So
I've never
Greg,
read
you can go ahead and explain this one.
no, Austin, you have more detailed version of this than me. It was like a comic arc that was very recent. It was Gotham Knights. Am I wrong on that?
Gotham Knights is what this was.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is there are different versions of Batman that essentially go rogue in their own universes. And in essence, Batman in this one wants to save his parents from being murdered. So in order to do that, he ends up stealing Barry Allen's speed as the Flash and merging the two spirit-wise together. And after that, he just gives no fucks. Like, he just goes back and changes things willy-nilly to the point of almost being not more of an assassin, but the essence of what Batman was trying to do warps the Flash or whatever that
Speed Force.
Speed Force. Thank you, Greg. Into more of a negative sense energy that the Reverse Flash kind of incensed, more of a villainous, murderous style, and the costume is beyond badass. I love it.
Yeah,
Every
it's a
sense.
costume.
So, Forger, have you heard of? I know I'm like pressing you because it's the topic, but have you ever heard of like the Gotham Knights comics and the Red Death?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never actually like read it or anything though.
Which I'm just noticing your shirt, by the way. Props to you for wearing that. I'm very, very happy.
Took you this long to notice.
Yeah.
Wow. Very perceptive, King.
Pay attention to your guest.
I'm paying attention. It's a lot easier when he's in the studio.
That's also
know what?
true.
Forger, take this down of an over/under bet of how many fists I'm gonna fight Bo with in the parking lot. Let's
I'll help you.
All right, the Red Death at 4. We move on to number 3. Yet another edition of the Gotham Knights comics. I love this so much. The Murder Machine.
It's actually my nickname, Austin.
I bet it is, Bo. Who gave
I
you
have
that?
so many questions, and I'm
No
just gonna
comment.
leave them be.
No, that was
Exactly.
in response to his parking lot comment.
Who is calling you that?
Okay. The
Awesome
Murder
work.
Machine essentially is what you would think of if Batman fused with Cyborg in a more villainous taste. And what ends up happening for this one is that Batman witnesses the only person that virtually cares about him left die, and that is Alfred. So Alfred is now gone from the picture, and there's no one to essentially look after Bruce. And what ends up happening is he creates essentially a supercomputer which fuses with him to make the cyborg version of Batman, the Murder Machine, and that's exactly what he did. He murdered, I think, every member of the Justice League in this time frame. Like,
Wow.
It was a brutal, brutal concept, and we're not even... When we get to the end, you'll understand the definition of crazy.
Oh, I have an idea of who number 1 is right from the get-go. But what I appreciate about this one is that this is very much what you would picture Bruce Wayne being if he decided to go Tony Stark. The Batman suit. I mean, the AI is the equivalent of Jarvis, essentially. So, yeah, this is what we could have gotten if they were merged somehow.
Yep.
I could see that.
Number 2, the most probably famous one, I guess I should say, from different virtues of comics and movies. This is Owlman.
A little bit older. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that, but I always forget about him because it's the Court of Owls, right?
Court of Owls, a little, yeah. It's I'm pulling up the information of it now just to be certain of it. Basically, it's the alternate universe version of Batman.
Okay.
This is where, like, what's the movie? Counter-Strike on Earth or whatever, where everyone is a hero, is a villain, vice versa.
Oh, okay. You're talking about in the Arrowverse, Crisis on Earth X.
Crisis on Earth, thank you. So, like, when everything is topsy-turvy, Batman, obviously a hero in this universe, is a villain in that universe with the crime syndicate known as Owlman. Very much the same, very, very nefarious in different ways and how that works. And obviously, I never knew this. He's called Owlman because owls preyed on bats. Never knew that. So it was very, very interesting to say the least. But this is the most famous one. A lot of people see the Owlman in differential variations.
So wait, alternate reality then. Is this Bruce Wayne or no?
This is Thomas Wayne Jr.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yep. So this is the older brother of Bruce.
Gotcha. All right.
Austin.
So,
Do you know what bats
I
don't
love-
prey on?
what?
Cats.
Just had to get that in there. Had to get that in there.
Needed it.
Well, you I mean, do we want to talk about that real quick? We can.
Might
You
as
want to do
well.
it now?
I don't know. Well, let's get through our number 1 and see how we.
Oh my God. I feel like after this one, we're not gonna want to talk about it.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Number 1, I have seen this guy in the comics. He is the deadliest version of Batman there ever was. This is the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh
I
God,
was
this
gonna
one
say,
is.
if this one was not
This was-
number one.
This was not your number one?
No, I was saying if this was not number one.
Yeah, okay. So I was gonna. This
Sorry,
version
stuttered.
of Batman is, I'm gonna say it, disgusting. Like it is. when it's
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
essentially, when Joker dies, a sort of his toxic gas is released into the lungs of Batman, and so in response, Batman brings like the entire Bat family together, and just basically tells them what happened. And when they say we need to get you help, he murders every single one of them right on the spot. Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, everybody. Just murders all of them in the blink of an eye. And then he goes on to kill all the members of the Justice League and essentially becomes a god. Like, he has like a leash of like 8 infected Robins as like dogs. Like, it is beyond fucked.
I mean, this one is clearly the most famous of the DC Knights storyline because of the fact that he's a merge with Joker, but also he's clearly the most sadistic and terrifying. Because if you look at him, first off, I don't even understand how the fuck he sees. Like
That's a good point.
I don't get it.
Sonar.
It's kind of either sonar
Yeah,
or it's
yeah.
like scent or something like that. But yeah, this dude, I remember seeing the pictures of him and what just spikes around his eyes, and I'm just like, what the fuck does this guy do? But no, Austin, like big, perfect number one because of the fact that in terms of looks, this guy is terrifying.
Well, in terms of looks, and then this is how all the other Gotham Knights sort of come into play, because if someone comes to him and promises him eternal godlike ability, and in order to do that, he brings different villainous Batmans throughout the world. There is one where he is fused with the strength of Wonder Woman, basically almost with a pride sense. There's the Red Death, there's the Murder Machine. He is fused with Doomsday in one.
Is there one where he's fused with Green Lantern?
It's something. I know that there's a zombie Batman Lantern one.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Batman Who Laughs is essentially in charge of all of this. Like, he's the ringleader. I mean, there's a point I think he is sent to hell, and he takes over hell. Like, he's that crazy good at being a sadistic bastard. So, yeah. More of these and everything else can be found on, just reading basic comics, man. I got a comic store like right up the street from me in Butler that I always am trying to get in. I gotta find more stuff like this, man. I need to start collecting stuff. Forger, are you a big guy in collecting comics, or like you just what's your sense?
I used to be whenever I was a kid, but now I have a bunch like saved on my Kindle.
I got you. I mean, that's not bad. That's adapting, not
Right.
Oh, but yeah, the evil forms of Batman. I gotta love that, man. Let's hit radical ranking number 2. All right, now that the nitty-gritty gory is out of the way, we'll hit radical ranking number 2, a more promising one that will hopefully bring a little bit more discussion. The top Batman movies.
I've never seen a Batman movie.
So
we just brought him in for fun.
Yeah.
He just likes bats.
Austin, here's my question with this one. When you are talking about top Batman movies, are you talking every single type of movie that was ever made? So like live action, cartoon, and all that stuff?
Animated, live action, it's all on the table, Greg.
So this is gonna be a lot more intriguing than I was expecting it to be. So yeah.
There's a lot in play. Again, we'll have to agree to disagree on some things. This is just how my perspective, but
yeah,
I'm sure that you will very much let me know if you don't like something.
There's at least
No, we never do that.
Yeah, no.
I would never do that.
So let's hit number 5, the first in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Give me Batman Begins at number 5.
I like it.
I think it deserves top 5 just because of the fact that it was a completely different take on Batman. It was a very much more realistic version than what we would have been expected from. So I can get with this, Austin.
Yeah, a lot of people concerned with the ability of maybe therefore a lack of villain in this, because there is essentially a split part between obviously Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul and whatever his name is. I can't remember. He's so famous, I literally blanking on his name, but he plays Scarecrow. And it's played up to be that Scarecrow is the main villain in this, and he's essentially almost kind of like a lackey drug dealer, psychiatrist almost. But the whole premise of this is not about the villains. That's not even where it comes close. It's literally about the rise of where Gotham starts to quake at the knees of the greatest superhero to ever come in and kick its ass, and that is Batman.
Yeah. I also think Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon is a good bar to have set for that too.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Exactly. Various twists and turns. Like I said, this was you're more of a darker sense. It's not oh wow. What's its name? The director that also directs a Batman movie.
Joel Schumacher?
No.
You're talking about the guy who always does the Johnny Depp stuff.
Yes, thank you.
I can't remember his name.
I
can't remember his name. God damn it.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, thank you.
Tim Burton, thank you. It's not a Tim Burton dark. It's more of
I
a.
didn't know he made a Batman movie.
Oh God, no.
Made the first two, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not Tim. Like when I think dark, Tim Burton is more Looney Tune dark, and like obviously
That's
like
a great way to put it, Austin.
I would say that. I mean, like, and then you have Nolan's trilogy that was essentially dark in essence of what was happening style wise. Like everything was so tense. Like this was that, and that's why that Batman Begins, in my honest opinion, is number 5.
Joel Schumacher is the best Batman director ever.
Wow.
I will promise you, there are no Batman nipples. And promise you that.
I don't mean that at all.
Well,
just so everyone's aware.
Sure you don't.
Time to break the ice. And no, if I ever put that in here, I would literally walk out of my own show. Number 4 is simply Batman.
By default, it has to be there. Yeah, I agree, Austin.
This is your more comic book take on the character of Batman and of the Joker. Jack Nicholson was great in this. And again, you have multiple actors that come in and pursue the role of the Joker. You get a different take every single time. And this probably was the most comic book take of the Joker in a live action film. All this was phenomenal, to the whole, him falling into a vat of acid and the smile. Like everything was picture perfect for this. Like,
yeah, Austin, when I think of Jack Nicholson's version, I immediately think of the Adam West one as well in terms of the cartoon style. The greatest story that I have always heard about this one is Jack Nicholson did not want to do this, but he got the story that I heard. What convinced him is that one, he got top billing, so that's why if you ever see a poster for it, it's always Nicholson's name in front of Michael Keaton. And then the other thing is that Nicholson had to get a portion of the box office from it, so he ended up making almost 10 times what his salary would have been if he decided to do that.
Well, if you think about it, like a lot of times, this was the story of the rise of the Joker rather than the rise of Batman. So
right, so there was a very heavy play on using
most of this revolved around Jack Nicholson's Joker, so to speak. Foreigner, I'm sorry if I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
I was going to say I also heard that since Nicholson turned it down, they got Robin Williams to get cast as it. And then Nicholson was like, "Oh, get me in there."
I would have shit a brick if Robin played the Joker, man. Holy, can you imagine? Oh, look at it, over there.
Oh, Robin Williams.
He would have been really good.
Robin Williams would have been perfect. Yes, that's a fair point to make on that.
I don't know how true that is. That's just what I read.
That's insane though, if that's the case.
Yeah. I guess it depends where you read it at.
It was IMDb, I believe.
Seems legit then.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this movie in every aspect that it was. I always remember the line where he gets burnt. He gets like the water thrown. He's like, I'm melting, and then he goes, literally hisses. He goes, boo.
Such a
Get
good
those
spot.
wonderful toys. Like, just such a great rendition. However, it's not the greatest, obviously, since we're at 4. We're moving on to 3, and which is Batman Returns.
I am not surprised this is in your top 5 at all. This is
Dude,
like
I love this film.
I have such a love-hate relationship with this film. I can't. There's just like it's like Tim Burton basically saw how good the first one was and then was just like, if you want me back, I can do whatever the fuck I want in this. Because this movie, there are so many things in this movie that I just like cringe at. And I don't know why. Like, first off, Danny DeVito as the Penguin is
Trash, man.
fucking terrifying in
It's
general.
amazing.
He's
It's amazing.
goddamn terrifying in general. Christopher Walken is actually also a scumbag of a human being in this film as well. And then, of course, you get the perfect casting of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Yeah, Ping says incredible casting.
Mm-hmm.
Casting
So-
was great, but I think Batman should be above Batman Returns.
Any reason why?
I just enjoy it more.
No, it's a personal bias. Piece of
Yeah.
shit. All right. No, I mean, a lot of people do go hand in hand with like comparing the Batman to Batman Returns and how it always transpires. I don't hate that. I think a lot of these things are interchangeable, so to speak.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's not like that big of a deal.
yeah, yes, this is not a big of a deal, but I know it's a big
Except,
deal.
you
It's
know,
his heart.
It's burning me up inside a little bit.
He
As
like
long as-
can't stop shaking.
As long as there's no bat nipples, I think we'll be fine. So that will always haunt me to my
If you're
days.
into that, Vo.
Oh, my God.
All right,
All
let's
right.
go. Move on to number 2.
Yeah, if we're gonna be goofy and silly, we might as well head to the only animated selection in this. Greg, I want to talk to you about this because you brought it up earlier. Why this is below the other one? This is by far the best Batman animated movie, and possibly, like I said, number 2, the best runner-up Batman movie. This is Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
It deserves to be top 5. You're not wrong on that. But, my God, Return of the Joker is so much better, in my opinion. And here's the thing. I give you credit for this because I think the mystery of the Phantasm is very good. The twist is very well done when you find out who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Return of the Joker had probably one of the most, like, just gut-wrenching scenes that you ever saw when you realized the Joker and Harley Quinn kidnapped Tim Drake, basically experimented on him, turned him evil, leads to Joker finding out Bruce Wayne is Batman, and then also leads to the death of the Joker. That 4-minute scene alone makes that movie well worth it, just from that alone.
I'd say if you're looking for shock value, but I think for possibly the best story out of the entire Batman, I'll say it, out of the entire Batman franchise, I'll go that far.
Okay.
This is the best story of the entire Batman saga. Of Batman, essentially, you see how it's sort of a Batman Begins feel at the beginning of this film, where he is trying to find his footing, trying to essentially make the promise that he made to his parents. He's wearing a ski mask. He's making little like things to pop tires with. Like, you see his amateuristic style, and you see for one of the first times Batman and Bruce Wayne falling in love. You never, aside from the on and off relationship with Catwoman, you never see this. Ever.
That's also
This
fair.
is Batman's one true love in Andrea Beaumont.
Mhm.
And all of this corresponds with a scene of this phantasm killer taking out gang leaders and framing Batman for it.
Mhm.
And what ends up happening is, by far, I mean, even alone, Greg, the soundtrack to this movie is
All right.
gorgeous.
I'll give you that.
It's gorgeous. The choirs, the renditions, And I will challenge your scene that you said, and we'll get you guys in here and talk about it in a sec. I'm sorry, this is
It's okay.
such a big
It's
thing.
okay. And let me add 2 more things from my movie too. Number 1, the reveal of who the Joker actually is. And number 2, the final fight scene between Terry McGinnis and the Joker, where Terry McGinnis uses the Joker's urge to always have wanted Batman to laugh at him to his disadvantage.
I will challenge that with the identity reveal of the Phantasm. I think that's a bigger shock value. I will say the final scene that chilled me to the bone when Batman and the Joker are in the airport land or whatever the hell it's called. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But the new future of Gotham, and the place is blowing up, and the Phantasm and the Joker are staring at the explosions, and the choir starts renditioning of this, like, just up and down, and Joker literally looks at it and starts laughing maniacally, knowing that he is going to die. That is by far the best scene I think I've ever seen in Batman. So now, here's what we're going to do. I have my opinion. Greg has his opinion. Forger, I brought you on for a reason, man.
I agree
I
with
want
you.
you
That,
to
that
answer
is a
this
great
question.
scene. To be honest, I would rank Mask of Phantasm on here. I do enjoy both of them, but Mask of Phantasm.
Okay. That's understandable. I respect it.
Yeah, take your drink there, Austin.
I-
You won that one.
Can I give a shout out to my mom? Hi, Mom.
Shout out Foranger's
Hi,
mom.
Mom. It's because of Vo's poor production skills that you can't hear me as well.
That's not true at all.
I don't know.
Are people having
He's trying
trouble
to
here?
sabotage me.
Pretty sure it's a microphone.
Sure it is.
I love how we had so much time talking about the number 2 spot for this. We forgot that there's an entire number 1 on this one.
We
Yeah, that
forgot
wasn't even
there's-
number 1.
I mean, we forgot there's an entire number 1, but I think it's one that we can all agree on. Number 1, The Dark Knight.
The greatest Joker rendition ever.
Yep.
Ever. Hands down. I completely agree with you on that. Like, Heath Ledger literally won an Academy Award for this.
Mhm.
Which is not something that you see from Superman, from superhero films ever. The entire just convoluted story, convoluted like traps and stuff that he comes up with throughout this movie is incredible. The realization also at the end to preserve the legacy of Harvey Dent, even though he went psychotic, is extremely admirable, to the point where it turns Batman into a villain at the end, is very, very well done.
Foranger, what do you think of this? I know that, I mean, it's a great film. It's not only one of the best. It's not only the best Batman film. It's regarded as one of the best movies.
Yeah, it had to be number 1. I think it's like in a lot of top 10 movies, regardless of genre.
A lot of times, and it also gave us the like, we got the rendition of like Batman's voice, like deeper. He's like, "Oh, little fighting ya."
Which, by the way, Maggie Gyllenhaal was a better Rachel Dawson than Katie Holmes was.
And like the whole rendition, I love the scene of Joker and Batman to where they first meet, where it's like, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, the
We are tonight's entertainment. A little fighting ya. I love it. You're gonna love me."
Oh, the whole story too about how he has the scars on his mouth and it changes every time is great as well.
So, it's wonderful.
Which,
Greg.
did you ever hear the stories too about Heath Ledger and the process for him coming up with this character?
Yeah, well, he would go and basically be homeless, right, in certain alleyways to basically find insanity, like to be this Joker character.
Yeah, he secluded himself for months to be able to try to get the stigma that he was going for. Like, Heath Ledger was a full-blown method actor on this.
I want to bring the point up that I think a lot of people might say. I did not include Joker in this, specifically because that is a Joker movie and not a Batman movie.
That's
Now,
fair.
you
That's
could
fair,
argue, You could argue with, well, then why is Gotham in it for the top Batman shows? There's more than just Joker in that entirely of the Batman universe. There's virtually every villain that came into place, Gotham itself, every little, like, there's more entitled, and that's why Gotham is in there for the top shows and why Joker is not. Still one of the best Batman movies and still one of the greatest performances by Joaquin Phoenix I have ever seen.
Austin, I like your top 5. I have a couple. The only things that I don't know what I would leave out here, but for me personally, 2 movies that I would have to include in my personal top 5. Number 1, Return of the Joker, because I think that entire story of the original Joker coming back in the future is very well done. And number 2, the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah, see, I knew
that is a good one. I forgot about that one.
I love that movie. I saw that with you in theaters, actually, and that was a great fucking movie.
You'll have fun. No.
No. Will Arnett as Batman is great, and then just the cutscene too, where it's like it's a very fast few seconds where it's scenes from all of his previous movies too, as like a way to poke fun at it is phenomenal.
Well, how about Zach Galifianakis as the Joker, for God's sake? Like, that was great.
I didn't realize it was him until the credits, and I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. Or Michael Cera as Robin too. Like, he was perfect as the annoying kid in that one.
Hey, yeah, Michael Cera, yeah.
Fly, Robin, fly.
All right, so before we move on, Foreigner, are there any movies that you would have put in here yourself? Is there anything of the Batman relevance of animated live action? Did I miss something?
Honestly, I think you covered all of them. I really enjoy the Rise of Dark Knight, or I forget.
Dark Knight Rises.
I was messing it up, but
Yeah.
but I probably would have put it like 6 or something. So
Yeah.
This was good.
It's just weird. Like, I love Tom Hardy as Bane. It's a very different rendition of Bane because everyone expected like Batman and Robin's like Bane were,
which is a lot more comic accurate too when you think about it.
It's just that his intelligence was very, very severed.
Yeah. So yeah, I appreciated the take on that, the entirely different concept of Bane.
While we're stuck on the Batman movies, can we talk about the awkward, like, basically 5-minute ending of Batman and Robin where everyone is just staring at each other waiting for the movie to end?
We're going to need a bigger cave.
Yeah, that was, oh, hey, you can't forget the Batman credit card. Never leave the cave without it.
See,
it's the stupid shit like that, Schumacher, you fucking piece of shit.
Here's the thing.
He's mad.
I understand that movie gets crapped on a lot, and deservedly so. But there's some stuff in it, honestly, that I just find fun.
Bad Batman movie, Greg.
Listen, it's the worst Batman movie, but I can still find some humor in it, though. Like, I can appreciate some of it. Yeah, absolutely.
But are you high? Is that every time Mr. Freeze makes an ice pun, you take a drink.
Oh, come on. There's good stuff. Do not tell me that you didn't enjoy Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
For the time being, but it just got over-sexualized, over-punny. Like, as soon as I heard, like, 3 ice puns, I said, all right, this is enough. And then he goes, oh, we killed the dinosaurs. The Ice Age. God damn it. Shut up. Like, the cast was incredible, but it delivered one of the biggest turds in film. Like, it was so bad.
I should watch this one, is what you're saying.
Yes, watch this one.
You've never seen it.
I've never seen that.
You've
one,
never
no.
seen this?
No.
You have to watch this.
You even like Batman.
Listen.
Growing up.
Listen, it is the worst Batman movie that has been made, but there honestly is some fun to it that you can get out of as well.
I mean,
you
at least
really
it's
can.
Silverstone. Yeah.
I'll say this, Greg. It's a campy feel. It's a very, like...
It is. It's very campy.
You know it's bad, and you're sitting down and watching it knowing it's bad, so you might as well have fun with it. That's my take on it.
Which you don't think George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Uma Thurman as campy.
Exactly, dude. Like,
yeah, which you don't.
You hear those names, and you're like, what?
But there's fun to it, though. That's what I appreciate about the movie.
It's fun if you're making games out of it. That's why I said. So don't Don't try Mr. Freeze's drinking game at home. You will end up hurting yourself.
I might have to try now just for that.
We're trying it right after this episode.
Hey, let's all do it in the parking lot. We'll take a
There we
DVD.
go.
All right. This is going to be an interesting one here. Great debate time. Let's get it. All right. The great debate is a very interesting one. It's not who's better than this, who's better than that. You're the newest villain in Gotham. What's your power? What's your name? Like, this is a creativity.
What's your number? Where are you from?
What's your social security number?
Yeah. We were talking about personal information. Yeah.
This is why rent in Gotham is only $10 because the Joker's blowing up buildings every 2 minutes. Like, this is where creativity flows, gentlemen. And the crazy thing about this is that Forger can't decide the draft
I was
order.
gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
That's kind of
So-
nice.
I need someone in the chat right now to decide the draft order. Ping, if you're still in there, give me a draft order, fella. I need it.
Yeah. Wow. This is gonna be an interesting one.
I know, dude. I'm excited for this. I'm giving you guys complete creative control here to decide what you're gonna do.
Here's
Austin. Oh, go ahead.
Here's what's interesting though. When I think of all the Batman villains, I mean, there's first off, Austin. Like when you bring up powers, like none of them have powers. They're all very much in the same realm as Batman. Like they use their mind, they use their wits, they use like kind of like gangs or anything to be able to usurp that. So it's kind of interesting. It's a weird dichotomy.
I'll give the chat probably another like 30 seconds to a minute to decide the order. If not,
If not, Forger goes last.
Austin, I have the name for you, so if you don't pick it, I'm gonna be very mad.
you have the name for me.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I feel like you should pick it. So.
There should be. Let me get a random, just in case if somebody doesn't. I'm gonna get a random name generator.
Wow. Mom, pick me.
Pick you to go last.
She probably would. Just pick Vo first.
Oh well, if that's the case, then dang, we're screwed.
I actually don't want to go first.
I guess like, random generator, random order. All right.
Craig's thinking hard over there.
This one's tough. I hate the ones where I have to be creative because I'm not creative in any way. So this is bullshit.
This one took me a little while.
Alrighty.
See what happens when you don't have me.
Yeah.
Be the sorter.
Okay, order. The random order is Bo, Josh, myself, and Greg.
Thank God.
See, I didn't want to go first.
You look like you at least wrote something down though.
I did write something down.
Well, there you
yeah.
go then. You're fine.
All right. So, I'm going to be called Shockwave. And what I do is I steal electricity from the town, the people, everything. Such as complete darkness all the time. If, like, say my phone's dying, just walk around, boom, steal your electricity. Phone's charged.
Why do I feel like you got that from a scene in Shazam?
No,
Well,
definitely not.
that
Do you think I saw Shazam?
I mean,
Your phone's charged.
yeah.
But yeah, and then also once you take the electricity, you can throw it right back.
Ooh.
Destroy
So
whatever's in your way.
yeah.
If Austin comes in front of me, just boom, shock.
I'm a villain,
Shockwave.
and I need my phone charged.
Alrighty. So Shockwave.
Shockwave.
His ability to steal electricity and use it. Josh,
All right.
Winger, my man, you are up for the number 2. What is your name? What's your power?
What's your social security? What's your bank account?
What's your life story?
Well, it all started
This is the story of a. All right, actually.
one day. All right. My name is Frequency.
Oh.
So I was a musician that witnessed his best friend's death when a batarang struck him while Clayface was transformed as Batman.
Okay.
But my power is I create subliminal messages and music to get Gotham to do my bidding.
Oh.
Okay, so it's kind of like it's
All right, that's
like,
a good idea.
It's like a Music Meister type thing. I can get with that. Okay.
My tagline is there no genre is safe.
That shit. First of all, this man came with a backstory. First of all, round of applause
That
for
was
that
good.
shit.
That was
I
good.
love that. That was awesome.
I appreciate that.
Oh man, damn it! Now I gotta follow that up. Like, fuck.
That's
Okay,
why I
so,
didn't want to go first.
so frequency putting. Okay, that's cool. I love that. I love that. All right. I am simply going to be entitled
The RankKing's.
Zip it. There's already like multiple like king characters. You have the the
Let me
knights.
down.
I'm straying away from this.
No royalty on this one.
I'm going to go with a royal aspect of Eternal. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna be called simply Lucifer.
Okay, now you're going mysticism. All right.
I am. So my ability is to be able to swindle people into their deepest, darkest desires. I've seen the Lucifer show for how long. I love every aspect of what that, which I never knew was a CW, was a comic book character in the DC universe for that, how that would work. Like,
I didn't know that either.
They had the Crisis on how many Earths or whatever with
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Exactly, Greg. They had it where essentially Green Arrow was somewhere in purgatory, and they had to go to the world of Lucifer, like in the TV show. I loved every aspect of this, and I never knew he was a DC character. Never knew that.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the aspect of I am able to pull people's deepest, darkest desires and essentially silhouette them. And what I mean by silhouette them is I am be able to create a form out of their deepest, darkest desires to essentially combat them with them. So it's not, they are essentially screwing themselves and fighting themselves while I am able to steal and do everything that I want.
I like it.
It's a good one.
And that finally leaves Greg. I hope that we had enough time for you to devolve.
Yeah, kinda. It's gonna be kind of a weird one, but just stick with me for a sec. I'm gonna be called the Imposter. Okay.
Imposter among us, get him!
Right, exactly. So, my thought on this one is I work for the GCPD, and I am in the evidence collection section where I have access to every single piece of paraphernalia from villains and all that you can think of. And after being in my job for so long and continuing to deal with the same problems over and over and over again, I decided to use my vast amount of resources around me to create and stage crimes that were done by another individual. And I get to the point where I decide, you know what? Batman does more harm than good. So I'm going to use all of those excess batarangs that he just leaves out for everyone that just never seem to get collected. And I find my way to be able to reel him in, and he will never know it was me.
I like that. It's like almost a little,
Pretty evil.
Thank you.
little promo.
I try.
It's very evil.
So I like that a lot. And like I said, I don't know if this will be the one to vote on, but I think this was. I gotta always keep you guys on your toes with having more of creative style.
I really like this.
Hate you for it.
Step out of your shoes, Greg. You're all good, buddy.
I like my shoes, goddammit. They're comfy.
So Shockwave, Frequency, Lucifer, and the Imposter. I love all these. We would be a seriously tough team to beat if that was the case. All that would stand in our way would be the parking lot. So we will understand how many things we will go as Forager when we come back, and I will go head-to-head in the top 10 ranking. Until then, stay tuned. Enjoy yourselves. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, I'm Josh. I like pizza. Do you like pizza?
When the moon heats your eyes like a big pizza pie.
We've let it coagulate. Show Greg. King of coagulation there.
Coagulation is key.
Homemade Greek ranch.
Do you like watching people eat pizza? Help me, because I'm on the quest to find the best pizza in Pittsburgh.
Hand-forged pizza.
Bit of Vici. That's amore.
Make sure you're sending in your recommendations for the best pizza in Pittsburgh, because I'm going to go, I'm going to try it, I'm going to hold it to my standards.
It's the aftertaste is the barf. It's where the barf comes
Oh, yeah.
I agree. It's bomb pizza.
Can your favorite pizza place pass the test? Find out.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Vault, the weekly show from Thoughts from the Bench that takes a look back at some of the best and worst sports jerseys of all time.
So, I looked up what a Canuck was. Ben, you're gonna shit yourself. What a fucking silly country.
Here comes the Crimson Chin.
No. You sound like the John Candy in a fucking snapshot.
That's Uncle Buck.
I have an irrational fear of alligators and crocodiles. I hate them.
What? Of like, okay, this school who looks like they're in High School Musical just came and balled out. So yeah, they're not drinking Gatorade or water on the sidelines. They just got bottles of Barbicide and they're just fucking tanking them down, dude. Like that guy who's nodding his head. Okay, where's the keg at? You know, like that type of guy.
Yeah.
Like
he's a glue guy. He's a glue guy.
Okay, he's a glue guy.
I want to show off the human goose that is Mike Glennon.
Oh my god, he is a goose.
They're like mom jeans with the elastic on top. Like, I don't...
I'm okay. I'm okay. He's a man of the people. He's in with the students at games and sporting events. He's posing with the frat boys. He's getting pumped up, literally and metaphorically speaking, for every event. He is Dartmouth.
What?
That was really funny.
Football's the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell.
JJ Watt, bring it on over, pal. Bring it on over. Golgi apparatus, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum. I'm just naming off science shit now.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that Batman is known for besides his money, his ability to just forget the bitches and just get everything done, it is his rogues gallery. And that's what we're going to be talking about today for the final top 10 ranking. These are the top 10 Batman villains.
Austin, real quick, in terms of all comic book heroes, does Batman have the best rogues gallery?
Hands down. Hands down. And it's mostly because a lot of them, it's because of their own undoing, right? Like, it's because of a choice that they had. It's not, oh, I accidentally did this, and look, oh, goddamn, a spider bit me, and oh, I have all this power. It's the ability to, I know, I sunk a little deep into you there.
I was going to say, that's a big diss.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, Greg's not happy over there.
I know he's not, but here's the thing.
What an asshole.
I appreciate the ability of mind over power and what Batman's rogue gallery brings. A lot of it is essentially bringing to life more internal struggle than outward power. And that's exactly what we got for all of these villains. I love Spider-Man, Greg. I know I do. I'm always that. I'm always that person.
Greg's not happy.
I know he hasn't touched his mic since.
I would have been totally acceptable with your answer, but then you decided to go a deep cut on me and now I feel personally attacked.
Oh, you shouldn't. Greg, I love Spider-Man just as much as you. Believe me. I'm excited for the new Venom movie. It has no Spider-Man in it, so.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm excited for the Spider-Man universe without even Spider-Man in it. I appreciate it. You know I do. Now, if only Sam Raimi would come back and direct another Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. I really wish it would happen, man. I really wish.
Understandable.
All right. Forager.
All right.
You start off.
The challenger.
The challenger.
So this is probably going to be a little controversial.
Hey, I love we're starting out hot.
We love controversy. We love controversy on this show.
I'm going to go with the Penguin at number 10.
Controversial on the half. All right. Forager, explain yourself. Penguin at 10.
I enjoy the Penguin. He's like a mob boss, runs all these different organizations, you know.
Yeah, that basically is the Penguin, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, he's basically, that's it. And he goes and steals some stuff just to get caught by Batman. All right, cool.
Over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like I had to include him because he's so well known.
That's true.
That's basically why he fell at a 10.
Okay, so I get that.
He wasn't even going to make my list at one point.
Oh.
Wow. That would have been a bit much, yeah.
Fucking nuts. All right. I love it, though. I love it.
Hey, Pat Clark, thanks for tuning in to see me and not Forager.
Hey, Pat. Thanks for coming.
I will say I'm shocked, and I'm not shocked in a bad way because this is brought up so many times, is what makes the Penguin unique is in terms of a villain. You know, essentially he's just a mob boss, but he has an obsessive fetishization of penguins. Like, that's basically what it is. However, I incorporate all forms of penguin in this, so the Danny DeVito penguin is always a thing for me, just for how, and I can't think of Danny DeVito without a trash man. I go through the start eating garbage. Yeah. But yes, we'll spot with the penguins.
Real quick, the Gotham Penguin.
Yes.
He made me like the Penguin a lot more.
It's by far my 400. I'm glad we agree. It's by far my favorite rendition aside from Danny DeVito of the Penguin.
He was arguably the main character of Gotham when you think about it.
Yeah I mean, he is essentially what Gotham, like, everything starts coming after, but he's the building block.
Right.
Like, he's one of the first people to take it to the new heights. I'm going to go a little bit of a different rendition. And turned anti-hero, former villain, mostly villain, but, you know, cat and mouse, quote unquote. I'm going to go with Catwoman at number 10.
So
the only villain to essentially, I'm not counting Talia al Ghul. Don't hate me, people. She's not the real villain in this. Catwoman is a villain at one point. She is a thief. That's how it comes about. But essentially, Catwoman, in my honest opinion, aside from a hypersexualized cat burglar, does not have a big rendition in terms of a character build. Like, I enjoy what she brings to the table to basically have Bruce, aka Batman, fall head over heels to drop his moral code in order to realize that something might be here. But what does it bring other than failed attempt at a relationship?
Brings us to Huntress.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So I'm going to be honest. I left Catwoman off my list completely.
Right.
Just because I felt like she was too much of a tweener. She could
right.
fall
I mean,
between both.
I consider her. It's too big to leave her off because she was a big part of Batman's rogues to begin with.
True.
And I can't leave that off specifically because of that. Now, again, like we said, she does go full anti-hero attempts. I mean, we've seen it in Batman animated films such as Batman Hush. Go check that one out. That was incredible.
Yep.
But she essentially like tries to help Batman or Bruce. I mean, we've even seen it in various TV shows. But she does start off as a villain. And for the majority is a villain. I just don't think she's the best villain, and that's why she's my number 10.
That's a good pick.
What do you got for 9, Forger?
Number 9 for me is Poison Ivy.
Oh, so this is interesting. So why Femme Fatales back to back? So why is Poison Ivy at 9?
I just like other characters a little better for the most part, but I love that she's like an eco-terrorist, can control plants, can seduce men and have them do whatever.
Go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say the Harley Quinn version in like the show Harley Quinn. Her Poison Ivy version is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
She is essentially what I would like the first quote unquote animated mistress. I would say it's a big thing because like the whole point is like to have men groveling at your feet to basically do whatever you want, and she had the ability. Now, did the Uma Thurman version have anything to do with why it's so low, Forager?
Should be higher technically. But...
No.
I'm saying I wanted to say the right answer.
No, not really, to be honest.
Okay, but I do. So that's an interesting move to have her at 9. I will say that my number 9 is quote unquote the most tragic of the Batman villains. Didn't have to be this way, but it was, and it's the reason why it's number 9. Mr. Freeze.
Oh man, that's a good pick, Austin, because his story really is just brutal when you think about it.
It wasn't supposed to be like, it wasn't supposed to be a villain. He just wasn't. He was just a man that was taken advantage of, and all he wanted to do was help his wife.
Well, do you know the original backstory?
The original backstory where he was like a jewel thief?
Yeah, but like the only reason he like turned out that way was because he was trying to like make a freeze gun and it like exploded.
Yep.
But then the animated series changed it up.
The animated series brought a whole new rendition of like emotion to the Mr. Freeze character.
Yeah, and the animated series is also close to the Batman and Robin version that Schwarzenegger played as well. That was kind of like the antithesis for them.
I guess you would quote unquote say it's a combination because of all the corny puns or icy puns, if you will, along with it, with the son and his wife along. I mean, he is a villain that didn't need to be a villain, but he is the most tragic of the Batman. The animated series, watching it back on how like Victor Freeze became Mr. Freeze is heartbreaking.
It is.
It really is. But I think a quote-unquote big reason, I wish he was higher because one of my favorite animated films growing up, Batman Sub-Zero. I love that film more than anything. The dude had 2 fucking polar bears with him.
That was cool, yeah.
What G? I mean, he literally rode up to a charity event with 2 polar bears and was like, give me someone that has a blood type. He didn't even want the money. He was just like, give me someone with a blood type.
Wow.
Who the hell does that shit?
I don't know.
That was a good movie.
Austin, better Freeze villain, Mr. Freeze or Captain Cold?
Oh, shit. Mr. Freeze, hands down.
All right.
Captain Cold with more snarky, sneaky, but Freeze with more potential. I loved it.
I understand. I mean, the Flash's version of Captain Cold was awesome, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that version stands on its own. I love it. Forager, number 8.
Number 8 for me is Mr. Freeze.
Okay, so we're not too far off.
Yeah, I like this. What edged him over Poison Ivy was his backstory.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, like I said, the most tragic of the entire Batman Rogues Gallery. I loved his story more than anything. I even enjoyed, there's a portion of the video games of the Arkham series where I would face Mr. Freeze in, I believe it's Arkham, not Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, where he was so smart that he would remember your tactic of how you like, damaged him, and you weren't allowed to do it again. So you're like, oh shit,
wow.
I gotta figure out another thing.
Yeah.
And
it was tough.
Yeah, there was like 9 different things you had to do. You're like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? But the Arkham Origins DLC basically tells the story of Mr. Freeze. You know, how the corporations and everything were screwing him over and stealing his freeze, like just for money, not for life purposes. And yeah, Batman did ended up, I mean, he got also one of the best suits in that DLC, which was the Thrasher suit, I believe, which was a thermo radiated temperature that would melt ice, and it was essentially almost armor. Like, it was badass. I loved it. So, but I can understand 8, not 9.
It's pretty close. Pretty close.
My number 8 is also from one of the later video games. This is a surprise, especially for my love of horror. Number 8 is Scarecrow.
Is it a surprise that you put him on the list, or just a surprise that he's this low?
This low.
Okay.
With my love of horror.
So why is he so low?
What was that?
Why is he so low?
My honest opinion is that there's various differentials of him, and I'm not all that impressed. The only time that he might have flown higher on this list if it had not actually been for the Christopher Nolan trilogy. It's sort of like manned him down as like almost like a hired gun, so to speak, because that is the opening scene of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He is essentially just a mob boss. What is there to fear? Nothing. Like, he gets infected with his own fear toxin.
Isn't that kind of like the Penguin?
No. And basically just becomes like a little bitch like throughout the movie. Like, I was very disappointed in seeing that. Like, I just wasn't a fan. But the only rendition that I truly, truly loved of the Scarecrow was the new Batman Adventures, not the original animated series, the new one. He had a various Western style to him. He had a various black cowboy hat that spun around, but he also had a noose that was chopped off and hung around his neck.
Okay.
And he was talking a rasp, and it terrified me as a kid watching it, because I said, is this dude actually alive or is he dead? Because he looked dead.
Yeah.
But you had this, and then of course the Arkham Knight video game, which he basically has a Freddy Krueger glove of toxins that he infects people with.
He was scary in that one.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that,
what did you think of the Gotham one?
The Gotham Scarecrow,
at least design-wise.
The design was very good, and I thought the story was good, making it almost an adolescent form of a Scarecrow, which we had not seen.
Yeah.
And I thought with teenage angst comes scared ability. What's scared ability? Fear. More than anything, man, I enjoyed. I would say that's probably in my top 3 versions of Scarecrow.
I feel like they kind of dropped the ball with him later, though. A little bit.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, my number 8 is Scarecrow to most people's opinions. What is your number 7?
Number 7 for me is Clayface.
So this might come as a shock, but I'm going to spoil it. 3, 2, 1. I do not have Clayface on my top 10.
Missing out.
But, okay, so
why should he be on his top 10?
Another one that I really enjoy his backstory. I don't know if the animated series changed that from the original.
You know what's funny? I don't really recall him much in the animated series.
He was only in like 3 or 4 episodes, but I really like he can shapeshift and change into different people, make his hands different weapons.
There's various abilities to Clayface that are different. One thing that I did enjoy, 400, that I will agree with, is his ability to make anything a weapon, as if his mind allows it. His backstories, however, kind of almost shapeshift as much as he does. So the first version of Clayface, I know that he was a failed movie actor and essentially became infected, and Batman beat him by putting up all his characters to make him just shapeshift over and over again because he couldn't control his powers. But then you have such as a fan of me that I enjoyed in the Batman, the 2004, who was a police detective who was infected with a quote-unquote Joker putty, lost his mind, and he was able to turn into Clayface. And I enjoyed that version of Clayface, I think, more than most people do, because it gave him something more that we just didn't have. Of that sort of like a tragic villain, almost like a Mr. Freeze level scenario, where he knows he's fucked, but he's still gonna do it. Like, he just can't control himself. And of course, you have quote unquote one of the biggest 3, 2, 1 spoilers in the Arkham series. That ending of Arkham City blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
With Clayface.
I was like, what are you talking about? What just happened?
I loved it. But yes, I enjoy the fact that you have Clayface. I wanted to put him on here, but he honestly would have been 10. And I will say maybe 11. I'll call him 11 for this. So. We'll do my number 7, which we talked about already. The Penguin at number 7 for me.
I love that you have the cartoon version on there.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But I can't say much else than what we've already talked about the Penguin. I think the reason he's a lot higher is because I've watched Gotham and I enjoyed that version of Gotham's Penguin more than anything. And like I said, the Danny DeVito version was good too, but a mob boss with a very fantasization of penguins. Nothing more, nothing less. Very simple. Number 6, Foreigner. What do you got?
6, I have the Riddler.
Oh, why so low? This is
again, there's just other guys that I feel are better. I really enjoy the Riddler though. His ability, just him being so smart and trying to get Batman to figure out all his clues and everything. His intelligence is just amazing.
Let me ask you this, Foreigner. Are you excited for the new Batman film?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Because I'm very interested to see this version of the Riddler.
Yeah, I am too.
He looks scary. Like, it looks like a scary version of the Riddler.
Yeah. Honestly, if the movie came out, maybe it would have swayed me to put him up a little more.
Your mom doesn't like that pick. It's 6.
Sorry, Mom.
Riddle me this. We've already talked about my number 6. Poison Ivy. I think the biggest femme fatale on this list. She literally, all she has to do is to spray dust, and it's literally her way or the highway. And I loved every portion about this. It drove fans crazy with the amount of feminism that was put into the show, because a lot of it, you never saw that on a TV show, especially with comic books. You just never saw that. And Poison Ivy coming in with a person that was never really taken seriously, basically as like save the plants kind of thing, basically bended the world to her knee and said, "Kiss the ring, bitch. This is what it is."
I don't think she actually
exactly what she said.
I don't think she actually said that, but it's artist interpretation.
I didn't shake it like that, but that's not the point.
That's what Austin says in the mirror.
Damn it, you caught me. No, I enjoyed every aspect of Poison Ivy's character development and how it worked. I mean, it was kind of a repeated angle, but I enjoyed it specifically because we had not seen that level of a feminine side with a hard, quote unquote, between a, I don't want to say a rock and a hard place, but between a thorn and something else, but I didn't want to. I was making a plant joke. Anyway, number 5.
You did it really well. That was very good.
Spicy. Number 5, Foreigner. What do you got?
Number 5, I have Two-Face.
Toothpaste.
The new villain.
So why?
That would have been a good one.
Why at 5?
I really enjoy his the duality with him and the coin, the whole chance thing.
I will say
it makes for interesting scenarios.
Yes. I will say in the early cartoons, it was hilarious because he would steal 2 tons of $2,000 with only $2 bills. And I was like, all right, that's pretty fucking funny. I mean, like, who else would think of that shit? I'm very surprised he's this low for you, though. Like, honestly. I mean, it's not a knack on your list. Like, I'm just like,
there's still better ones.
I feel like it's a little bit of a knock on your list, just saying.
Yeah. It's not a knock on his list. It's not. Well, I'm respecting his list.
Well, who do you have at number 5?
Oh, well, since you so insist, Bo. My number 5, 1, Ra's al Ghul.
Okay.
I mean, he has to make top 5, so.
It's bad that most people forget about him, and it's a shame. He is literally the man who never dies, the one who wants to basically burn Gotham to the ground and assault terrorism throughout the land in the hopes of creating a brand new world.
And has succeeded for years. Yes,
exactly. And that's as psychotic as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know for a fact that he's been alive for millennia, and he's just been keeping himself revitalized with the Lazarus Pit. Just doesn't die.
I like whenever he's in the Lazarus Pit, and after he comes back out, he's just like insane.
Yep. Because it twists your mind every time you go under,
Mm-hmm.
which, don't go to a hot spring if you never know what you're going into. You might know what you're coming out of. You might come out of looking like, big head, small body. Who the hell knows? But
or you come out like Vo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Never. You wish you did.
We leave my producer alone. God damn it.
He gave me a crappy mic.
That's the mic that's there all the time.
That's fair.
But I think a lot of people forget about Ra's al Ghul. But he's one of my favorites. It was even exemplified with the Liam Neeson role and how he played it, just glorified.
Yeah.
But yes, that's my number 5. We are now in the top 5 for our number 4.
So that is my number 4.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Okay.
400 to not forget.
I did not. I would never.
So anything to add?
No, not really. I mean,
I will say
everything.
The only other thing that I really enjoyed of him was in the Batman Beyond series. If you guys hadn't watched it, basically it was Talia al Ghul that gave Bruce the ability to gain his youth back again. So he's maybe 5 or 10 years older than Terry McGinnis. But we've come to find out that it's not Talia al Ghul, it's Ra's al Ghul in Talia al Ghul's body, which is the biggest mind fuck.
I hated it.
It was he heard, Bruce heard Ra's, and when he was talking, he was Talia was like, I have something to tell you. I'm Ra's al Ghul. What the shit? What? It was nuts. I was just that can't happen. They kissed. No,
Yeah.
That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Reasons I hated it.
Yeah.
It's hard to think they were made for kids when you think about it.
That's crazy, man. And of course, the Arkham City video game. That's just entitled. So good. Number 4 for me. Riddle me this. The Riddler.
Jim Carrey as the Riddler might be top 3 in terms of movie villains, the live action ones for Batman.
I know who the Batman is. You do? It's me!
Mr. Enigma.
Yeah, I feel like when you think Batman, you think Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Oh,
I do at
phenomenal.
least.
I'm hoping this new Batman movie, I hope it gives a more darker, simplistic style to the Riddler that we've been craving for years.
I just feel like that Riddler, the Jim Carrey Riddler, was like a form of a Joker, just dressed as the Riddler. Though.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was the orange hair, you could tell was dyed and all that because you saw him beforehand. So I can understand that.
Yeah, but our number 4s are off the table. We are out into the top 3. Oranger, where are we going?
Number 3, I have Scarecrow.
So interesting. My number 8 is your number 3.
Yep.
I would love to hear this take.
I just really love the fear aspect. And then Arkham Knight just sold me on him a lot as being a major villain.
Okay. Now, like I said, the phobias and the fear of it being with my love of horror, I appreciate so much. However, in my mind, I think Scarecrow was overshadowed by the actual Arkham Knight himself in the game. And maybe that's where I fell off a little bit. But I said, I thought that maybe if they did him a little bit better, he would be fine. I mean, I still play Injustice 2 all the time, and he is one of the top people that I main as all the time because of his reach. But I love Scarecrow. I appreciate what he has.
I feel like he doesn't get a lot of love though, so
he doesn't because of a lot of various implications. But I enjoy that in Injustice 2, he was voiced by one Robert Englund who played Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare.
That's cool. I did not know that.
So check out some of those intros for a Mortal Kombat ask because that was crazy. My number 3, Bane.
Literally broke Batman's back. I can agree on that.
I am the man who broke the bat, as he would quote unquote say. And I love there's different aspects. Like you have the Tom Hardy, like straight, basically like null Bane to like an animated, like where most of Bane's heritage is more of a Latino based style, where Danny Trejo has played Bane before. And you have just various aspects of this character, more of a lucha libre style that I very, very much incorporate. I loved, whether it's Venom Bane or regular Bane, the criminal aspect of it is that he is a dude that'll kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that, like, he's super strong and everything, and that's what people think mostly about him, but he's so intelligent too.
Dude, he's so
one of the
smart.
most intelligent.
What's your next step of your master plan? Crashing this plane. Like it's like, fuck. As soon as you hear that, like all like the people start coming with the ropes and shit, and you're like, what's happening? What's going on? And the dude blew up Hyde's Field. What the fuck? Like, damn it.
I just love whenever the one dude's like, I'm in charge here, and he's like, do you look like you're in charge? Or do you feel in charge?
No one cared who I was until I put on the mask. Like, it's one of my famous lines I always like.
Mhm.
It's so true. And despite him having a respirator, bitch ass for breathing, I very much incorporate him for number 3. I love it. So, and finally, we get into our top 2. Foreigner. I feel like I know where you're going here, but go ahead.
So number 2 for me is Bane.
Yeah. So I knew that Bane. I think we're on the right track of where we're gonna end up with. But yes,
I already knew we had the same number 1.
So
Had to.
why is Bane 2 for you?
Because he's just so intelligent. He figured out who Batman was, broke out of that prison.
That's a lot of
hell
things
on
that
earth, and then broke the Batman.
Yep. That seems to be a lot of things that people don't realize is that Bane was actually able to find out the identity of Batman without a lot. And a lot of that is told actually through the Arkham Origins video game, which I love that more than anything. Was like Bane essentially became this hired gun, but became one of the major villains down the roll of how that was entitled. And like I said, he starts off with just minor doses of venom, and we clearly see what happens when too much of it is inserted into it.
Right.
And you have to add the cameo of the Batman Beyond series, where he is essentially just a man breathing.
Yeah, he's like a shriveled up, skinny guy, like on a
Mm-hmm.
giant respirator behind
He
him.
is running on venom to stay alive. And how venom becomes like a street drug, which again, like drug aspect and drug use, so many different dark things that come into aspect of the Batman Beyond franchise, and how that show worked so wonderfully done. My 2 is Two-Face, quote unquote, punny. But
I thought that when I put this together too.
funniness aside, Two-Face, the duality of it is so incredibly well done, especially in The Dark Knight. Like, I remember watching the scene where they are driving with Falcone in the car, and he's like, all right, live or die, basically. And he's like, all right, you're good. Flips it again. He's like, he's not. Who? Buckles his seatbelt. Your driver. And then
That was such a
I
good
was
scene.
just like, that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen happen. And the aspect of Harvey Dent, where it was, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That line alone sparked amazing response from me for how Harvey Dent's character was. Basically, when everything was just ripped from him and he was tainted by the Joker to throw a little chaos into the mix.
I wish we had more of him in the movie, but I get
Dude,
why we didn't.
I love the effects, the prosthetics that went along with that. CGI, like everything was great. But yes, to preserve Harvey Dent as the quote unquote shining white horse and to make Batman the underlying villain was such a smart strategy that helped this franchise even more and to make one of the most glorified and wonderful endings to a movie I've ever seen. And I don't think we have to both
let's just count down from 3, and you both give us your number 1.
Sure.
We'll see if they're the same.
Sure.
So ready? 3, 2,
1.
Slave face. What?
That was good. That was good.
My imposter eyes. Did you see what I did there? I shaked.
I was waiting for one of you to do that.
No. 400 eyes number 1 is hands down. I don't mean to speak for it, but I think we know where we're going here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's so many different aspects. Identity crisis, wonderfully personaed actors, voice actors. Shout out Mark Hamill, will be one of the greatest renditions of the Joker
absolutely
of all time. Different comic books where he is essentially so crazy that he cuts off his own face to then re-sew it to his face to kill the Bat family, take over the world, basically poison Batman, do everything in his power just because he had one bad day.
That's very true. I mean, The Killing Joke is one of the greatest comic books graphic novels ever. And that's
it on Netflix, I think, still. It's amazing.
And you know what's interesting, too? Technically, we don't really know who he is.
We don't.
We have no idea. To this day, we don't. Like, even the Joker movie, you can kind of... That's just an interpretation when you think about it. Like, that's never been confirmed that that's who the Joker is.
I mean, Foringer's nickname is the Joker, so he could be the Joker.
It was in Votech back in high school.
I mean, there's so many different aspects to this character. I love the Killing Joke monologue where he basically says, sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another. That shows you how twisted the entirety of that mind has gone. And I think what I most love about the Joker is the end of the Killing Joke, because it becomes a notice of Batman and Joker, and Batman basically being like, I'm not going to kill you, we need to work this out. And basically Joker being like, I'm sorry, but it's too late. Like, that sense of rationality a little bit in an insane mind, which a lot of this stems between this, quote unquote, hear me out with this, guys. The end of the Killing Joke comic is essentially the two sharing a laugh and then only hearing Batman laugh. Now, a lot of this stemmed because it is believed that Batman, in the middle of the joke, puts his hand on Joker's shoulders to then off-screen choke him and kill him, because he knew that one of them was going to kill the other, and if it wasn't going to be settled in a resolved action, he was going to take it by force in this.
So that gives a whole new interpretation into the Killing Joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because of how that works. And, I mean, the same joke is told, I think, in an animated movie with Robin, I think, later, with Jason Todd coming back, because you see the two sit down in a diner, and then Joker, who at this point I think is just called Jack in this, is supposed to be in therapy and is working through his issues. And Jason Todd literally walks by and basically says this one line. He's like, I'll tell the big man you said hello, because Bruce is technically dead in this. And all it takes is that. And he turns around and literally goes, Wonder Boy. And it's fucked. He starts pounding him, he stabs him, and the makeup of the whatever it is, the
face paint
makeup, whatever it is, the skin tone comes off, it's white again. It only takes that rendition to go back to insanity for that quick.
Foringer, you can do the Joker's laugh, can't you?
No.
No, you're not feeling it.
I have to be a little drunk.
I got you.
There's only room for one improvisational person in this.
Can you do the laugh?
I certainly cannot.
You can do it. At least give it a try.
revolves around 2-1 Mark Hamill, which I believe has the best Joker laugh.
I agree. 100% agree.
Austin, I'll donate 10 bits right now if you at least try.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Get some alcohol courage in him. I love it. That was good. That was good, Austin.
That was good. Good job.
That was good. I really hope Bree was not there because you probably scared the shit out of her.
I pretty much scared
the shit out of me.
I heard the door lock behind me. I'm not entirely sure yet. But I was not staring at myself on camera for that. I would have been too awkward at my point.
Hey, well, I'll probably clip it, so you'll get to watch that all the time.
Ah, shit. Please do. Anyway, we're about 10 minutes over. I won't keep us very long. Gentlemen, it has been a wonderful rendition of the RankKing's Court. Foreigner, thank you for being one of our best guests, I would say, in terms of content, in terms of engagement. Just overall, I have loved you being here, sir. Do you have anything to plug or what's going on in your life before we end the court?
Not really, come visit me at Giant Eagle, That's about all I got going on, working. Come say hi.
Stop by and say hi.
Just stop by. Just go to any Giant Eagle and say hi.
Just go up and do the Joker laugh, and he'll find you.
Just go to any branch, be like, hey, I'm looking for this guy. And they'll be like, sir, we have like 2,000 stores nationwide.
Yeah.
Just
any Giant Eagle will do.
Store, yeah.
But yes.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey,
we had a great time.
Hey, I'm glad you did, man. The whole purpose of this is to be engaged and to be fun and to be creative as possible with virtually anything and everything. I mean, that's what the show's about. This is pushing boundaries as to basically whose opinion is essentially better. And we're going to find it out because Bo is going to put these on Instagram, I'm pretty sure, to see who had the top 10 Batman villains. Is it me? Is it Foreigner? Who knows at this point? And what I will say, tune into all our stuff that we got going on throughout the week. Draft days are always on Monday. Catch us doing weird, zany topics. See where it goes in. We're always here Tuesday, 6:30. Just check us out for that. We got a bunch of new content coming in for the show. And we have the flagship show, obviously, 2 Beers Deep, Thursdays at 7, the new time. Check us out. Deke, Greg, and Josh with me at the end, beginning, middle. Who the hell knows at this point?
Depends on whenever you're
whenever
available.
you want to show up.
Depends on when I feel like showing up, I guess. And then, of course, we have the Vault and these differential fantasy football things we have going on Sundays. All of it and more directed by Thoughts from the Bench. Foreigner, thank you once again for being on. And I think it would be only appropriate. I see he already has it in hand. Goddamn bastard. He needs to, for Foreigner to close with the show. So with that being said, boys, we'll catch you next week. Court is adjourned.
Court is adjourned.